Bloating sucks. Like, there's not a bright side to bloating, it's just all awful. But if you're bloating, you just did a really good clickety click because you're about to get a really big piece of information for your bloating concerns. Let's get at it.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
Now, when you do a search on how to fix bloating, the advice that you find is almost as bad as the bloating itself. Now, understand that I've heard from hundreds of people who have used what you're about to learn in this video to fix their bloating. And when you understand the underlying cause of bloating, you're also going to understand why the advice that you tried did nothing for you. Now, it's not that the advice that you got was bad advice, it's just that the person who gave you that advice was a bad person. That's not right? Okay. Apparently that's not right. And of course that's not right, but I just want you to understand that it's not that you're a broken individual or that this bloating is your fault. When you get to the end of this video, you're going to understand what's going on and the next steps that are going to be right for you. So let me know in the comments what type of methods you've used to try to improve your bloating, and let me know what created any type of improvement and what didn't. So there's two types of bloating. There's the my face is all puffy and why don't my rings fit like they did this morning type of bloating. But then there's also the why do I look pregnant even though I'm a dude, type of bloating, which can also be the I'm so uncomfortable right now I might not ever eat food again. It's a type of digestive bloating. So let's talk about that one first. Bacteria in the stomach creates the gases that cause a person to burp or bloat. And some people will burp more and some people will bloat more. And keep in mind that a carbonated drink can cause a person to burp, but for most people that are dealing with a significant issue, there's some type of bacterial overgrowth in the stomach that's creating this burping or bloating. Now, if bacteria are alive in your stomach, that means that the stomach is not acidic enough. Because at a pH of below 4.5, bacteria will stop replicating. When we eat, the body makes hydrochloric acid, or HCl, to acidify the stomach so food can be properly broken down and the nutrients in that food can be utilized. Beyond breaking down our food, HCl is also the initial barrier for the entire body. The foods we eat have bacteria on them. You just can't escape that. But when your stomach makes enough HCl, that bacteria fries in an acid bath and doesn't make it into the body. This stomach acid is your knight in disgusting armor. It's the barrier that keeps the bad guys out. Yet you can see a commercial on TV every 15 minutes telling you it's a good idea to turn that stomach acid off. Oops. If you're currently dealing with reflux, your bloating actually makes even more sense. So be sure to check the description for our Understanding Acid Reflux video so you can learn how acid reflux is normally caused by too little stomach acid. It's not too much stomach acid like we're told by advertisers. Even without taking some type of acid reflux medication, it's really common for a person to be making less than optimal levels of stomach acid. The body needs minerals to make HCl, and if your stomach isn't making enough HCl, you can't break down your food well enough to access the minerals in that food. So a person could get stuck in this cycle of broken digestion for a long time. This is also why people with a menstrual cycle will sometimes experience magnified bloating around their period. It takes a lot of resources to complete that menstrual cycle, which means fewer resources are available for digestion and producing HCl. Less HCl can mean more bloating. To make the situation worse, much of the food that we eat that doesn't get properly digested becomes a problem that your body now has to deal with. This undigested food will often be partially broken down by means of rotting and fermenting. This process can also create additional gases and more severe burping or bloating. It's the gases that create that pressure that creates the bloating or pushes air back up so we burp. So if you're dealing with either burping or bloating, additional acid is likely needed to fully digest your food. It's also possible that your bloating may be occurring further down the digestive tract. If a bacterial overgrowth starts to make its way into the small intestine, the waste from that bacteria can also make the small intestine overly alkaline and restrict your ability to assimilate the nutrients in your food or move it through the system at an appropriate pace. When the overgrowth occurs in the small intestine, this is also known as SIBO, or small intestine bacterial overgrowth. If this is you, some additional steps could be needed, but the road to recovery still starts with making sure your stomach is properly acidified. Supplementing with HCl is a great place to start when working to acidify the stomach. But before you do that, be sure to watch our video on digestive issues explained. You really need to understand how the body uses bile to neutralize that stomach acid once it leaves the stomach. If that acid doesn't get neutralized, it can continue through the digestive tract and create loose stools, chronic diarrhea problems, or even a duodenal ulcer. Now, don't hear me wrong, supplementing with HCl doesn't normally cause stomach ulcers. Even the medical world now knows that stomach ulcers are not caused by too much stomach acid like we believed in the 80s. Stomach ulcers are caused by bacteria in the stomach. Bacteria that was able to thrive in the stomach because stomach acid levels were too low. The stomach was made to hold that acid, but the intestinal tract isn't, so you want to make sure that bile is flowing correctly before you test out increasing stomach acid levels. You may also need to take additional steps to wipe out any type of bacterial overgrowth in the stomach. Otherwise, the alkaline waste from that bacteria could be neutralizing the HCl supplementation that you're using. Now, D-limonene can be very helpful in this, and we walk you through exactly how to use that in our totally free 4-week digestion course. I'll put the link in the description below. I know the information that you've been finding when you've been searching for answers for bloating, and if you have significant bloating, I also know that those things didn't work for you. And because you just found a significant piece of information for yourself, be sure to click the like and subscribe button below, because that tells YouTube to show this video to more people, and you can help someone else find their answers too. The really confusing part about all the information that's out there about avoiding cruciferous vegetables and carbohydrates and high FODMAP foods and all that information is that for some people, those things can improve their situation. If that person is right on the fence and maybe they just need to avoid some of those foods that are a little bit harder for them to break down, then they can see some good results, and that confuses people to make them think that everybody's going to see results with that. But if a person is really having a significant bloating problem, nothing is going to create improvement until they fix that structural process of digesting food correctly. We were made to conquer the food we eat. We shouldn't have a chicken sandwich carrying us off captive and leaving us in discomfort for 6 hours. You don't have to live that way. When your digestion is working correctly, you can conquer your food instead of the other way around. Now, if you're dealing with the puffy face or fingers type of bloating, that can have more to do with the body holding on to too much sodium in the wrong place and then water following that sodium. To improve this, most people are told to cut down on salt, but this is a mistake. Salt is not bad for us like many believe. It has more to do with the type of salt you're using. If you're using plain iodized salt, then yeah, that can be a problem because table salt is predominantly sodium. To use that sodium, your body needs other minerals as well. That's why it's more beneficial to use some type of unrefined salt, like a high-quality sea salt or mined salt that includes other minerals so the body can use that sodium. This problem is often magnified if a person has low levels of minerals in their body, which is usually the case when digestion is not working well enough to fully break your food down and pull the minerals out of that food. So even though we're talking about 2 different types of bloating that both have 2 different underlying causes to them, improving any digestive issues is always the first step. To learn how to do that, check out our Digestive Issues Explained video here, and you'll find the link below in the description as well. There you're also going to find the link to our free 4-week digestion course that's going to help you walk through figuring out which aspects of digestion need help for you and then the steps you can take to improve those. And be sure that you hit the subscribe button so you see explanations for other freaky stuff as those new videos come out. I can't wait to hear about your results.